How would you feel if I walked up to you and said, hey,
how much money did you make this week? How much money do you make this month? How much money are you going to make this year?
It'd be pretty uncomfortable is what I'm imagining. That's because socially, at least here in America, it's kind of taboo to talk about how much money you make. And while there may be some shifts in the social acceptability of talking about compensation, at least when I was growing up and in my first few jobs, it would be grounds for dismissal for me to discuss my compensation with other coworkers or people in my company doing similar jobs. And it was considered rude if I ever asked my parents or their friends how much money they made. In fact, still to this day, I don't really like it when my kids ask me about how much money I'm making. And I don't exactly know why. But when it comes to real estate and being a realtor, we have to talk about compensation. It's one of the strange quirks of the industry. I mean, imagine if you were going to buy a car and at the dealership, before signing on it, one of the things that had to be disclosed was how much money the representative from the dealership was being paid to help sell you the car. It's just kind of a strange thing to consider. But real estate law throughout the United States requires that compensation for realtors be disclosed, whether that's helping you buy or sell a house. And that's just getting even more stringent with some of the recent lawsuits that have come out against brokerages and the National Association of Realtors, accusing them of fixing broker compensation. So the thing to be clear on is that as a realtor, I am comfortable talking about compensation, and I recognize that that might be a little bit more uncomfortable or less familiar for you, which is why I wanted to create this video to help try and break down that barrier, as well as clear up some of the mystery behind how our agents actually compensated. The way that I and the Tartan team operate is a pretty traditional model where we are compensated based on a percentage of the final sales price of the home that you're either selling or buying. Now, there's probably going to be some changes in exactly what these agreements look like as the new lawsuit settlement finally takes effect sometime in the summer of 2024. But at least right now, the way that real estate in Washington works is that the listing agent has a meeting with their seller, and part of the listing agreement where the seller hires me to help them sell their home is we talk about the total commission that that seller will pay for my services. And while I won't give an exact percentage here, just know that it is a total percentage of the sales price. Now, from that total percentage, I offer about half of that to the cooperating buyer broker if there is one. So if there's another agent involved in the transaction, it doesn't cost the seller any additional funds. In fact, it costs me because instead of receiving the full amount of that percentage, I'm giving a significant portion of that to the cooperating broker who's representing the buyer. That's been the Cooperative Commission Model that has been kind of the staple of real estate agent compensation since the 1980s. And by and large, it's a model that's worked pretty well, but clearly not without its faults because of lawsuits and things that we can get into in other videos. But one of the misconceptions that I want to point out is, okay, we're talking about a percentage that can look like a significant amount of money, sometimes $30,000, $40,000 of a total sale price. Wow, that's a lot of money to go to me. That's a lot of money even to be split between me and another agent for how many hours of work, right? At least that's what a lot of people think. So I think it's helpful to break it down. One is that good agents, at least, do a ton of work. And you're not just paying them for their work hourly, but you're also paying them for their years of expertise and market knowledge, connections, relationships, everything that they're doing behind the scenes and that they bring to the table by who they are, the professionalism that they have that serves you and protects your interests in one of the most significant decisions and investments of your life, buying or selling your home. So agents do a lot, and they ought to be valued highly as such, at least when they are good, serious, professional agents, which I realize not all are. Here at the Tartan team, elite agents without egos. You can tell from another video just how serious we are. Link to that in the description down below. But that whole rabbit trail aside, that larger sum of commission where it just seems like, man, that's a decent chunk of money that's going to my agent. I think that it's helpful to point out that, well, actually the agreement that you have is not with me personally, but it's actually with my brokerage. In this case, Real Brokerage. Real Brokerage is the umbrella that provides all of the legal compliance and protections that legitimize a real estate transaction. And so I am actually an affiliate broker underneath Real Brokerage. So your agreement is with Real Brokerage and with me as one of their affiliates. So when closing happens, we go to the title company, and from the net proceeds of a sale, money is sent to the agents. It doesn't actually go directly to the agents. It first has to go through the brokerage, and then it gets filtered through the brokerage to me and to any cooperating agent who's part of the deal. Now, no brokerage allows that money to pass just freely down from them to me, the affiliated agent. No, instead they have significant fees, usually referred to as splits. So the brokerage takes a large percentage of the commission that I would otherwise be receiving, and they use that to cover all of their operations. The brokerage has overhead, they have technology, they have legal fees, they've got all kinds of things that they do to provide support to me, which then is ultimately providing support to you in getting top dollar for your home or getting the best value when you buy a home. So it makes sense. Brokerages, they exist to do business, and so of course they're going to get their cut. Then there's also transaction fees. Like, as part of the Tartan team, I have the most amazing transaction coordinator, and she is phenomenal at so many of the things that I'm not. What I love doing is communicating, negotiating, strategic thinking, building relationships, and really helping, counseling, guiding people. That's where I spend the bulk of my time. But I need people like my phenomenal transaction coordinator who really excels in organization and timeliness and schedules and just keeping everything on track so that we have as smooth of a transaction as possible. But of course, she also needs to be compensated, and that comes out of the commission that looks like is going to me. Then on the listing side, I've got tons of marketing expenses related to helping you sell your home. So I've got the photography, the videography, and all of the marketing materials, and the website, and all of the investment that I've made in social media profiles, even the things creating videos like this and having my amazing video editor who's part of the team. All of these are expenses, business expenses that I have to account for in the commission that I'm receiving from helping you with selling your home. But even as a buyer's agent, where I might not have the same marketing costs as I would on the listing side, there's still a significant cost of time and energy and being out and about with you, going all over town, looking at all of the different homes that you want to check out. All of those costs do add up, and they add up pretty significantly. Then, of course, there are taxes, right? Well, as a self-employed individual, I've got to pay all my own taxes. I'm not a W-2, I'm a 1099 underneath Real Brokerage. And so I've got to account for about 33% of my income being set aside for taxes. I also have to pay for my own health insurance, all of these things that add up pretty significantly. So when you put it all together and think about it, it's kind of like, well, yeah, it seems like a lot of money that a realtor is making, but it actually goes pretty quick. And at the end of the day, it's not nearly as much that actually hits my bank account as you might think from what the numbers look like on paper. Now, I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse about the way that commissions and the real estate industry is set up, but I want to be candid about, hey, that's just what it is right now. And it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort to succeed as a realtor. Frankly, most people don't. Most realtors, they say on average, make between $30,000 and $40,000 a year. And that's a ton of work to make so little, relatively speaking. There are much, much easier jobs that people could go out and do to make 2-3 times as much money as what most real estate agents make. Now, I'm not creating this video to complain. I realize that in talking about
taxes and healthcare and paying all of these other people, woe is me.
That's not at all what I'm trying to communicate. I am very, very grateful for the kind of lifestyle that being a successful agent affords for me. But I want to paint a clear picture that, hey, it's not just easy street being a realtor. And of course, the side that we don't often think about is just on listings that don't sell, or on buyers that I spend countless hours with showing home after home after home. Well, if the house doesn't sell or if the buyer doesn't buy a home, then I don't get anything for that. There is nothing in the agreement that promises me any compensation. And so as a realtor, just the nature of the job and the way that I've set it up is that, hey, I only get paid if I deliver the goods. I'm taking that risk upon myself that I don't get paid unless I do right by you and get you exactly what you were hoping for and want. With that, though, comes the other side, right? Like higher risk, higher reward. And that's just something that's shared between both myself and the clients that I'm working with. That, hey, if I don't deliver on my promises, if we're not able to get you what you want for your house or find you the perfect home, you don't owe me anything. But if I do deliver, well, then as a professional who has followed through on my commitments to you, then I should be compensated fairly. That's the fundamental breakdown. I would love to know what you think. Obviously, I think there's going to be some changes coming in how buyers, agents are getting paid. I'll probably do another follow-up video. Love to know what questions you have about that in the comments below. If you're an agent and you're experimenting with different models, I'd love to hear about that. Or if you've had experiences with other agents who have done different models, and let me know in the comments. And of course, if you would like to talk about working together, want to know where I left it blank on what my percentage is, and you're dying to find out, what does Nick actually charge? Well, the best way to find that out is to get in touch with me, set up a one-on-one meeting. Let's talk about what your real estate goals are, whether you're looking to sell, buy, or invest. I am here to help you out, and I promise you that I will provide more value to you than whatever it is that you're compensating me in commissions. It's the only way that I can lay my head down at night at the end of each day, is knowing that I am providing more value into the world and into my clients than what I am taking out from them. So if you want to hear more about it, get in touch with me, leave a comment, of course, like, subscribe, all of the things, and I look forward to being back talking with you again very soon.